You ever do some work, get paid once, and then just watch as that thing you did creates massive value for someone else way down the line? It's a story we all know, especially in the world of data. But what if that could all change? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful new concept that could completely reshape how we think about the value of data work. And it's being built by a project you are definitely going to want to watch. So, the source for this explainer, well, they don't mince words. They point directly to one project, Codatta. See, they're not just building another data platform. They're architecting something they call a royalty economy. And this quote right here is our jumping off point for understanding what could be a totally game-changing idea for anyone working with data in this new age of AI. Okay, so that leads us to the big question, right? What exactly is a royalty economy? I mean, it sounds cool, but what does it mean in practice? Well, it's a whole new way of getting paid that goes way beyond the simple one-and-done payment for a task. Let's break down the official definition. Here it is, the core idea. In this model, every single contribution you make to a data ecosystem doesn't just get you a one-time fee. Nope. Instead, it earns you ongoing royalties as the AI models using that data get bigger, smarter, and way more valuable. So your pay is directly tied to the long-term success that your work helps create. Pretty cool, right? And this really lays out the fundamental shift. The old model, which is pretty much standard everywhere, is just a transaction. You do a job, you get paid, end of story. But this new model that Codatta is building, it turns that transaction into an actual asset. Your work becomes a source of continuous, long-term income. It's the difference between getting paid once to lay a brick and getting a tiny piece of the rent from that building forever. Okay, so how does this actually work? Well, it's a really simple but powerful loop. First, you contribute to the ecosystem. Step 2, AI models get trained on all that data and they scale and learn directly from your work. And then step 3, as they scale up, you earn ongoing royalties. It creates this amazing feedback loop where the more valuable the AI gets, the more valuable your original contribution becomes. So you might be wondering, what kind of work actually counts as a contribution here? Well, the ecosystem values a whole range of things. It could be that foundational work, like sourcing and labeling data, the stuff that directly feeds the AI. Or maybe it's quality control, like validating other people's work to make sure it's accurate. It could even be creative work, like building new apps on top of the platform. The whole point is that all of these actions are seen as creating long-term value. Now, underneath this entire economic model is a really powerful philosophy, and it's all captured in this one quote. Data is knowledge, and knowledge is long-term yield. This totally reframes data. It's not just some static commodity, a raw material. It's something dynamic. It's knowledge that just keeps providing value long, long after it was first created. And this is what that philosophy really means for you, the person contributing. The value of your work isn't just fixed in the moment you finish it. It actually grows over time. As an AI learns from that image you labeled or that data set you validated, the impact of your contribution gets bigger. And in this model, so does your reward. It's a total paradigm shift. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great, a bit of a lofty idea, a nice theory, but here's the thing. Our source makes it super clear that this is a concrete designed system. There is a real architecture behind the philosophy, a structured plan to make this whole royalty economy a reality. For instance, the source mentions that a contribution's entire life is tracked across 4 interconnected phases. Now, it doesn't spell them out, but you can kind of imagine what they might be, right? Maybe a creation phase when you label the data, then a training phase when it's used by an AI, an impact phase where that AI's value gets measured, and finally, a royalty phase where that value gets sent back to you. The key is, it's a thought-out process designed to track value from the very beginning to the very end. So look, if you take just one thing away from this explainer, let it be this. The absolute crucial point of the royalty economy is that your contribution keeps working for you long after you've moved on to the next thing. It basically transforms your labor into an asset that generates income over time. It finally aligns the incentives of the data worker with the long-term growth of the entire AI ecosystem. And that just leaves us with a final massive thought. Codatta's applying this idea to data work for AI, but it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if this model wasn't just for data labelers? What if all of our digital work, from writing a review to creating open source code to sharing a photo, what if all of it paid us based on its true long-term impact? It's a pretty powerful question to think about.